All right. So what does it mean when we're looking for the solutions to a quadratic? Sham? The parabola. Yep, it's where it crosses the x-axis. Okay, now, graphing it is pretty tedious, right? Yeah, it takes a long time. So right now, for this week and next week, I'm gonna show you about 1, 2, 3 different ways to solve these without having to graph them. Okay, so when we say solve these, we're actually looking for where does x cross, or where does it cross the x-axis, right? So we're looking for what x is. Okay, so the first time, or the first way we're going to learn is the square roots method. Okay, the square roots method only works if b is 0. Okay, so it's got to be in the form of ax squared plus c equals 0 in order for this to work. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, all right, so it says step 1, we're supposed to isolate x squared. What's the word isolate mean? Kinda. What? So get it by itself, right? So isolate means get it by itself. So right now we have x squared minus 49 equals 0. How are we going to get x squared by itself? Yeah, so we're going to add 49. So we have x squared equals what? 49. Okay, now, in order to get x squared into x, we take the square root of both sides. So we get x equals 7, and be careful because there's going to be 2 answers. X equals, yeah, because if I take negative 7 and I square it, what do I get? 49. Yep. So it says if I take 7 and square it, I'm going to get 49. If I take negative 7 and square it, I'm also going to get 49. Okay, so you're going to get a positive and a negative. Okay, so how many solutions does this have? 2. So if we were to graph this, it would cross at negative 7 and 7. Like that. Well, if A is positive. Okay? All right, so on this one, on number 1, what's my first step? Add 16. So I get x squared equals 16. So x equals 4 and x equals negative 4. So you need to have this part like this at least written out. Okay, not just 2 answers, x equals 4, x equals negative 4. Don't just put 2 random numbers, 4 and negative 4. Okay, I want to see this step. And I need to see that they both are x equals. Okay, so let's take a peek at number 4. It doesn't equal 0. Is that okay? Yeah, it is. Okay, because I can still get x squared by itself, right? Okay, so in number 4, how am I going to get x squared by itself? Minus 7 and minus 7. So x squared equals 81. X equals 9 and x equals negative 9. All right, take a look at number 5. What do we do? Trey, what do we do? If you're not going to pay attention, you got to put that away. Okay, so we're going to subtract 7. I get x squared equals negative 3. Somebody plug the square root of negative 3 in your calculator, please. you get an error, right? So if it doesn't exist, what's my solution? No solution, yeah. Okay, and if I get something like no solution, what does that mean? Yeah, it doesn't cross the x-axis, so it might look something like that, right? Where it just doesn't go through the x-axis. Alrighty then, let's look at, since you guys are so very fond of fractions, let's take a look at number 10. Okay, first step is to do what? Yep, we're going to add 5. So I have 1/2 x equals 50. And now what do I have to do? I have to divide by 1/2. Dividing by 1/2 is the same as doing what? Multiplying by 2. Yep, so if we multiply both sides by 2, that gets rid of my 1/2. I get x squared equals 100. X equals 10. X equals -10. Easy peasy so far, right? All right, so let's flip our page, or are we not flipped yet? Yeah, flip our page. Let's look at some more interesting ones. Let's take a look at 15. No, that's a boring one. 16. First step. Add 16. So 9x squared equals 16. Okay, now when we get decimals, you're going out 2 decimal places, so nearest hundredth. Okay, so what's my next step? So we got to divide by 9. So x squared equals 1 point what? 7, 8. Okay. Would you guys agree with that? Did you actually type it in and look? Do that. You need to do this with us. Okay, so now what do you have to do to find x? Because now it's x squared equals 1.78, so how am I going to get x by itself? Square root of both sides. So x equals 1.3 what? 1.33. And x equals -1.33, yep. Okay, so that part's not so bad, right? I'm looking for one in particular. Where would you be? Not seeing it. I'm going to have to write it myself. Let's say I've got 3x squared plus 9 equals, oh, I'm going to go -9, equals -9. First step to get x squared by itself. Add 9. So 3x squared equals 0. Now what? Divide by 3. So x squared equals 0. So now when I take the square root, x equals 0. Am I going to write x equals 0 and x equals -0? No, because there's no such thing, right? What does this mean? No, there's a solution. But what's it mean? Yeah, it just means that it crosses at 0. So it would look something like that. Okay? Not so bad, right? Shouldn't be.